ace that exam.
Even the editorial was very positive this morning.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Really nice.
Hi, I'm Jessie Haynes, your host for Principal Matters. This is a special edition. We've got some great guests here to talk to you about the building and construction projects that are going on in BISD. $388.6 million building and improving schools across our district. Here to start off this conversation is Mr. Ed Caluette, who's from Parsons Incorporated. Welcome, Ed.
Hello. Hi, Jesse. Thanks very much. I thought what I'd like to do as a start is kind of give you an overview of the bond program, kind of remind everybody of what the voters passed back in 2007. Project is completed, scheduled to be completed in December of 2011. And this year we've got 4 prototypes, elementary schools that will be finished. We've got 3 middle school additions, 4 middle school renovations, 9 elementary school renovations, and then 1 stadium and auditorium complex. Parsons is responsible for managing the design and the construction for the total bond. The total project includes 9 new elementary schools, 1 middle school, the multi-purpose facility, which will be finished in August for the first football game, 10,500 seats. It also includes an Olympic swimming pool in the auditorium that will be finished in the November time frame. So all in all, we've got about 50 projects. Everything's listed online so the community can go online or call our office.
Wow. Let me tell you this, because I know people are wondering, big lineup of people out there. Who are all those folks? So let me, before we come back and talk about all the millions that Parsons is saving us on this $388 million bond issue, I want to introduce the group of people that we have here. Sitting next to you is Amanda Goody, and Amanda is with WB Construction, WB & Sons Construction, right? All right. And next to Amanda is Mr. Graham Walker from Fiberbond. And then here we have Mr. Terry Daniels, Daniels Construction, right? All right, now let's see how good I am. Pronounce your name for me.
Candido Lizarraga.
And he is with Turner Construction, Candido Lizarraga. All right, and you're the project manager for Turner Construction. All right, next to you is, you gotta look at my list, Owsley Lacey. Laser Construction. You're one of the subcontractors, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next to him is Mr. Tom Harrison with Alco Construction. And then bringing up the rear, Bob Menifee. And Bob is in charge of...
right now I'm in charge of doing the roofs, but I'm one of the senior project managers with Parsons.
And you've been helping to make sure that we meet the goals.
Yes.
Mike?
The district has mandated that we institute a policy of having at least, or attempting to have at least 25% LMWBE participation in the program.
Now, for
And
those of us who don't know what all those acronyms are, L means local.
Local, yes. And MWBE, Minority Women Business Enterprise.
Okay.
And that pretty much covers the gamut of all the community. And we're trying to make sure that this is a community thing. So we're trying to bring in everyone local.
I remember when the board passed this policy saying that it wanted to do at least 25% local women, minority-owned businesses. And what the board did say, it was that they didn't just want to build schools, but they wanted to leave a legacy here in this community. So once all the schools are built, that we've also built businesses and people are having jobs that are ongoing and they're getting skills that they would not have had they not had the opportunity through this bond issue. Is that my correct understanding?
You're absolutely right. And what you're going to force me to do is steal some thunder from some of the people that we have sitting here.
Okay.
And that's why they're sitting here, to demonstrate the fact that not only have we reached out to the community, but that we're bringing people into the community with those sets of skills that will be able to perform long after we're gone. So yes, we've got some people here that we have developed that are ongoing, some of the subcontractors, as well as some architects that are coming in and putting roots down in Beaumont. So once we leave, yes, we'll have a core of community and LMWBE participants that we will leave behind as hopefully our legacy that will be able to continue in your future programs.
And hopefully by the end of this program, people who are out there that are interested in doing business with many of these contractors and subcontractors or finding a job with them, they will at least know how to go about making that happen, correct?
That is correct. We've got, the way we've got it set up, we've got a so-called general contractor, CMAR, construction manager at risk. And this construction manager has 3 schools. We've got 3 of them. And each of them then goes out for subcontracts. And anyone in the community that has a skill that can participate is more than free to come in and then bid on those projects. Okay. So they're learning not only how to bid on them, but how to build a school at the same time. Wow. And of course that helps the small businesses.
Well, sitting next to you is a gentleman who is in charge of the first school that's going to open under this new bond issue, right? So, Mr. Tom Harrison, tell us about the school that you're planning to open before August or by August.
Well, it's Amelia Elementary School. It's we plan on opening it for the fall semester. We should attain substantial completion probably by the first week of August, and then at that point in time allowing the school to get teachers moved in, classes opened up. It's a little bit of a rush project right now because we ran into a lot of bad weather early on, trying to get foundations and things put in. But overall, the project's proceeding on schedule right now, so we're looking forward to getting it completed and children moved in.
Well, now, Amelia was like one of the oldest school in our district. It was about 100 years old, and it was in dire need of being replaced, as I understand. Did
I did not. I lived in the neighborhood, and a lot of my friends went there. So yeah. I think Amelia was built in 1923, if I'm not mistaken. But I've been in Amelia as a child and grew up in this community. I actually attended Sally Curtis Elementary, and also Ogden Elementary prior to that. So, but I'm a BISD student and a LU graduate. So all my roots are here in the Beaumont area.
Okay, so your company, Alco, is building how many schools?
Right now we have 6 elementary schools and 1 middle school that we're building at the current time.
Okay, and you're on time despite all the weather issues and other things that got in the way?
That's correct. Right now all our projects are on time. The first will open will be Amelia, and then behind it we'll have Blanchette and Martin Elementary Schools will open for the spring semester. They'll be ready for student occupation in December.
Okay. The inside, but it's picking up back out on the videotape. Oh, you are running this on DVD too, right? Okay. All right. Well, okay. Wow, that's pretty interesting, Mr. Harrison. Thank you very much. Let's talk to the other guy who's building schools, Mr. Terry Daniels. Tell me about the schools that you're building.
We've got 3 elementary schools under contract. Regina Howe, which is currently under construction. We started it in December. The other 2 projects, one of them, when Amelia gets complete, then the kids will be moved over there for the temporary facilities, and then we'll get to use, we'll start Callwood, which is coming out for bid later this month, and then a little bit later than that will be Sally Curtis, and that's the 3 elementaries we have.
Wow, so Regina Howell will be complete not this school year, but
it's going to be completed in the early spring of next year.
Wow. So yeah, that's been a lot of talk. That's going to be one of the largest schools. 750 students. Yes. It'll be for.
Yes.
So, wow. And then Caldwood, 550.
Caldwood's a 550, the smaller of the 3 prototypes.
And then Curtis is going to be the last elementary school.
That's correct. It will start. They had issues out there with the baseball fields and some of that. And so
but
anyway,
we protected the fields, right?
Absolutely. The district took care of the fields on
and
that.
We saved their playground equipment,
saved all
right?
the playground equipment and everything, but it did put it behind the schedule a little bit from that, so we're going to have to move around a little bit to make up for that.
And if I correct me if I'm wrong, but the Curtis students are going to move over to the Regina Howell complex, or is that, am I confusing that?
I think that the Caldwood kids are going to the Amelia, and then once the Regina Howell kids move out, then the Curtis kids will go to the Regina Howell temporary facilities the way they have right now. I believe that's true.
Okay, and Ed, you can kick in any time to correct us over here while we're, all right, is that right?
Well, I'm pinching Terry. I should say I'm pinching Terry a little bit on his completion date on Regina, because his guys are really doing great out there, and I think he's going to be pushing December rather than spring. I think he'll be pleasantly surprised.
So Steel is up now?
Steel's coming up real nice.
It's coming up now.
So you can drive by Regina Howell and you can see the building just going up.
Well, it helps a whole lot when it doesn't rain every day.
Okay,
that
whole
helps a
lot
lot
of
on
rain.
construction.
You want a dry summer.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and then the other big project that we have, of course, that takes care of the 10 elementary schools and the 1 middle school. We have the multipurpose facility, which is now called the Dr. Carol A. Butch Thomas Educational Facility. Okay, repeat the title.
Dr. Carol Thomas, Butch Thomas Education Support Center.
Okay, how are we coming on that?
Well, that one, we have less than 100 days now to turn it over.
Countdown.
So we have the first game is scheduled for the end of August.
Okay.
Which, like I said, it's less than 100 days now.
Yeah, and I think that game is going to be Westbrook and Central. And then the next day it'll be Ozan and another team.
The first one, I believe it's Westbrook and Ozan.
Right. Thank you.
So it's coming up together. We're going to be turning it over by the end of August, and then the natatorium building, the full building, is going to follow a few months after that, per the original dates that we have set up since we were bidding the project. Just going back a little bit into what Bob was mentioning about local minority woman business participation. What Turner did, we set up for 2 years in a row Turner School of Construction Management here in Beaumont, which means pretty much setting up classes for smaller companies and learn about the construction process. Very basic classes, starting from estimating, putting an invoice together, not too technical about the construction progress, because that wouldn't really matter for a firm that is starting to get familiar with the construction project process. So we set that up. I think it was very successful. We have participation for about 60 to 80 subcontractors for 2 years in a row.
I remember that. People were flowing out of the room. It's awesome. It's a 6-week program, 8-week program?
It was about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
So it was a way of knowing the local companies and them knowing us as well. We have 3 different offices in Texas. So we have strong participation in Texas, and that's one of the ways to get up to the participation that it was required by Beaumont ISD.
So you went out and trained people to make sure that they could meet the requirements.
That's correct.
Okay. I got because I just thought of something over here. You're a local guy, aren't you?
Absolutely. I didn't grow up in Beaumont, but in the area, in Kuntz. Graduated from Lamar University as well. And my sister is part owner.
That's what I wanted to find out about.
She also graduated from Lamar.
So woman and local.
Absolutely.
Okay. Daniels Construction. Back to Turner Construction, the stadium. About how many seats will be over there?
10,500 seats, as Ed mentioned.
Okay.
And the pool, well, it's going to be, I believe it's closer to 200, 300 seats. So.
About how many parking spaces?
Parking spaces? Oof, that's a tough question.
We
Actually,
won't
I
have
haven't
to park
got
all
to
along
that
the
number
highway.
yet, but
Okay.
you can see it, and there's many of them, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Plenty of parking.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm told this is going to be one of the best facilities as far as athletic competition facilities in Southeast Texas. Is that true?
Right, and a good example for that, it's that it's going to have, it's a brand new facility. The field, it's the latest technology available. It's going to be an artificial field, and it was reviewed in deep detail with Rodney Savet, who is the athletics director. And we went to different stadiums in the East Texas area, and it was determined to use that specific field, and we think it's the best decision for the school district.
So the turf is the kind of turf that makes you jump higher and kick the ball further. What's so special about this turf?
Well, it's safer than using a natural turf.
Okay.
And it's one of the advantages on it.
So it's kind of like what you would see in a professional football stadium?
It's similar to it. Many professional stadiums now have artificial turf.
And what about that famous scoreboard?
that famous scoreboard, we're being told, well, that's being provided directly by the school district. We're being told that that's going to be one of the largest scoreboards in a public school in Texas, actually. So.
And I need to tell you, if there are only 2 spots left, if you're interested in getting on that scoreboard as far as a permanent position, there are 2 spots left. And you need to call me as soon as possible if you're interested in being on it. So we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about some of the subcontracting opportunities that exist at the stadium. But in the meantime, I want to go back to you and ask you a little bit about how we got into, before we talk to Fiberbond, why did we start doing the Fiberbond?
When the program started, we had a number of projects that needed to get completed right away. And so therefore we went into a prefabrication process and used Fiberbond. They were able to fabricate a lot of the facilities at their manufacturing plants in Louisiana, bring them over, set them in place. Weather didn't bother them much. They could, set the facilities using, I think it was like a 450-ton crane, huge crane. Each of those panel boxes weighs about 90,000 pounds, so they were very quick. Matter of fact, the projects that are finishing up now are about over a month earlier than what we planned on.
We want to talk a lot more about the Fiberbond construction and some of the buildings that they have in our district, but we need to take a break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back to talk to you more. Hold on. So we're going to Graham? Okay. Okay. Welcome back. I'm Jessie Haynes, and we're in a special edition of Welcome back to Principal Matters. This is a special edition talking to the people who are making big changes across our district. The $388 million Bund project, and we're now getting ready to talk to a guy who helped us survive a hurricane through the buildings that his company brought to our campus. And that's Mr. Graham Walker. Hi, Graham.
Hi, good to be here. Thanks.
Those buildings are tough. I mean, if they can survive a 155-mile wind, we were definitely safe, right?
The winds, blast resistance, they're bomb shelters that have been, which is the history of our company, making telecom equipment shelters that are resistant to almost anything. So migrating that into educational space.
Well, your company is responsible for maybe the first 3 additions that were built?
Correct, in the summer of 2008.
And they were at what schools?
They were at Fletcher, at Westbrook, and at Central.
Okay, and then we happened to use the one at Westbrook for a
I believe
shelter?
Command Center, right?
Yeah, Command Center, yeah.
Hurricane.
Which hurricane was that it? We've had
There
so
were
many.
two, Gustav or Ike, one of the two.
Ike,
Yeah,
oh
Ike.
yeah, wow. So it withstood all of that, and you also have how many other buildings that you're doing for the district?
We're involved in 4 other campus additions right now, at one at Homer Elementary, Vincent Middle, Marshall Middle, and the 4th one, Austin Middle. Yeah.
Austin. And these are usually classroom additions of about, what, 20 classrooms?
That's on average.
Give or take?
That's about right.
Okay. So you have been selected, number 1, because you could get it done quickly.
Speed, that's the biggest, yes.
Okay. And then 2, because of the safety and the quality of it.
I mean, what we're building is a permanent structure. It's not, there's a modular connotation because we are built in a manufacturing facility. But when this is done, I mean, these are permanent classroom additions. So
Okay.
the campuses that we have going on right now, people can drive by and see them. They're nice-looking, very permanent structures.
Oh, yeah.
Very heavy.
So how, since much of the work is done in Louisiana, how do we get local contractors and subcontractors involved?
We've got we break it down into 2 phases of work. Really, we've got our manufacturing component, and then we've got our site component here in Beaumont. So when we make that transition from our manufacturing facility to the site, we're just like all the other folks here, working very hard to ensure LMWB participation. So when we're looking at that, of our subcontracts right now, on these 4 campus additions that we're doing right now, we're ranging from 32 to 51% participation, which we've been pleased with. So.
And some of that work would be plumbing, electrical?
Yeah, plumbing, electrical, dirt
painting.
work, foundations, yeah, anything. So.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. And then I understand that you hired a lot of people as temporary employees?
Yeah, we did, particularly in the 08 projects, because their schedule was so crucial in allowing the other campuses to move forward. And the weather was so bad,
Yeah.
rain every day, that we were behind schedule for sure. So we had to certainly add a lot of temporary folks here in Beaumont to help us with the project. So.
Okay, so the ones that you're working on now, they're due to be completed by when?
They'll be they will be completed before school. So.
Wow. Okay, so 4 new additions will be opening before August or about August.
Correct.
Okay, and sitting next to you, one of our subcontractors, Miss Amanda Goody, and she's with WB and Sons Construction.
That's correct.
Tell me about what you guys are doing as far as the bond project goes.
Right now, we're acting as construction managers for the Blanchette project.
Okay.
We also have a subcontract for the Amelia project.
Okay, as a subcontractor with Amelia, some of the work that you're doing would be?
The electrical, plumbing, masonry, painting, and some interior work as well.
And you're a local company, or where
yes.
are you guys from?
No, WB in Construction has been here since 1994.
Okay.
Most of the people that work here grew up here. They went to school. Their children go to school currently in some of the schools here.
Okay. And as far as the Blanchette project, you're going to be doing that pretty much on your own as far as the construction goes?
The construction management part, yes. We are a contractor with Alco.
Okay.
We partnered with them to do some of the pre-construction work, which before the project started in the design and estimating phase, and now we're basically running that project there.
And Blanchette is due to be open?
That school will be finished late November for the spring 2011 school.
Okay, so the kids will probably be in that in January, and teachers will be moving over the holidays into the building.
That is correct.
Good, good. And when we say, okay, you're a local company, you're a minority-owned company, but do you do subcontracting too with other entities?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. We, not only for the school district, but just in general, our practice is to use the local community in which we're in. So that's something that we've always done from the beginning when our company first started in 1994 was to use local contractors, small subcontractors. So that's something that we've been doing long before we even started working on the BISD projects.
Okay. And this will be the first school that you've been assigned to be CMAR, the Blanchette deal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then our other minority contracting firm would be, they've been talking about you guys. I mean, people are just proud of you. Laser Construction Company. When I heard laser, I was thinking about light beams and stuff. So what do you guys do?
Laser Construction Company, we are civil contractors. We are also on Blanchette project. We are a subcontractor to Alco. We first had the site work portion. We're doing all the concrete paving, concrete foundations. We did the storm sewer, all the work on Blanchette.
Okay. So, Mr. Lacey, then, is your company from this area?
We are primarily from Houston. We have opened an office here at 2050 Sabine Pass. We hired a number of local employees. We are using local subcontractors, members of the minority community here in Houston, and we're here to stay, become a part of Beaumont.
All right. And then how long have you been in business?
Our company was established in 1992.
Okay. You're not a fly-by-night company, I take
No,
it.
ma'am. We are here to stay, and we are here to provide a good product. Quality is our top process. We were good project, on budget, and delivered on time. We're very committed to that.
Okay. Now, being a minority-owned firm, and I hear people saying stuff all the time. Well, those minority companies, they don't really have it together. They come in here with the paperwork all messed up. They don't bid right. They don't bill right. They don't do things right. And I hear that often. And I know that's not true about every minority company, but what have you found as far as challenges for you when you try to break into a market as large as projects like these?
It was somewhat of a challenge. Of course, it's a challenge on all the projects everywhere. But since we started in September with Alco, I think we developed a relationship and a bond. They respect us, we respect them. We're here to be an asset and not a liability, to perform to the highest expectation possible. We want to add something to the project. And Alco's been very good and very fair to work with. We have now 4 schools with Alco.
Okay. Now, you said something that was very key. I'm going to ask Mr. Daniels about that. Key word he said was relationships. I think, just thinking about businesses, period, if you're going to do business with someone, you need to establish a relationship with them. Wouldn't you say that's the first thing?
Absolutely. I mean, that is key. There's no question about it. And you have to develop the relationship, and you have to feel comfortable, have a comfort level that with those people that they can perform and do what they say that they're going to do, and with the owners expecting timelines that are sometimes a little bit tight, then you have to depend on those people to perform like they say they're going to do, and that is absolutely key. The relationship is, no doubt.
And when you're looking for people to develop a business relationship with subcontractors, minority contractors, local contractors, what are some of the things you look for?
Well, I mean, experience, the ability, the craftsmen within the company that have the ability to complete the task that you're trying to assign to those people, and a desire to complete that task. That is very key. That they really want to do the job, and the district has, with the 25%, I think all the projects are well above the 25% on the participation with the minority and local minority. Some are outside Houston and other areas, but there's a lot of that percentage that is local minority.
Well, I mean, you just walked in the door ahead. You walked in the door with 50% woman, right?
Well, 50% woman, right?
Okay.
And then our CMA partner is also a minority.
Okay.
Andre Lewis with Architectural Associates.
Okay, so
and they're on the construction management level with us and participating at that level. So, yeah, it's the percentage is well above the 25% that the district asked us to participate in.
So that's kind of unique that you could find minority partners who are in fields such as architecture.
We actually had developed a relationship
Okay.
from several years back when we did the Ford Park, the arena and exhibit hall that we did out there. He actually worked for the architectural firm that did the design work out there, Philip Long, which is doing they did the 3 original prototypical development on this. And we had that relationship, and when we were asked to form a relationship with a minority business, he came to mind, and we contacted him. He was interested in doing it, and so that's the way we put the package together. So.
Okay, well, this is a tough question, I think. So, Mr. Harrison, so when you got this deal that said, okay, we want 25% local minority businesses, did you feel put upon that the district asked you to reach out and make sure you got 25% minority business?
No, not at all. I mean, excuse me, a lot of contracts we deal with, most our client base is a lot of taxing entities, federal, state, local, municipalities. In most federal or state or any type of municipality contracts you work in today's economy, in today's environment, require MWBE participation. So we have a large pool of MWBE members that we, throughout our projects, that we carry with us and bring with us and help develop as we go through. So some areas have larger requirements and some have less requirements. And a lot of them are just federally regulated requirements as to what the federal government wants to see happen. So, but minority MWBE, MWBE participation is something that we see on a daily basis.
Okay, so when a person comes to you and says, well, we talked about relationships, but so for the person who says, well, you need experience. And I know we talked one day and you said, well, I'm not going to put anything at risk that's going to put the school district behind. And can you kind of expound on that a little bit? Because people may come to you and say, well, I really want to be a part of this, but I don't really have any experience. So where do you direct them? Other than out the door.
No, we don't go out the door. In some cases, we've tried to work with some local minorities that need help, need expertise, need to be taught, need to go through. Turner had a program here, like the gentleman said earlier, but we're trying to get some of our other local vendors to work with the minority group right now to help them in their estimating, to help them develop manpower issues. These projects are very time sensitive, so we have to have people that when they get there, they perform. They have to understand scheduling. They have to understand manpower. They have to understand quality work. They have to understand all the gamuts of what it takes a company to go out and perform on a day-by-day basis. Quality is our main concern, but timing is another large concern that we have, making sure these projects are open on a timely basis so that we have obligations and we need to meet those on a day-by-day basis. So working with people, it's very, it's a relationship we have to develop day by day. We've worked with numerous MWBE participants on these projects. Currently, I think our participation on the 4 current in progress schools we have are above 40% participation for MWBE. If you put a local beside that, we're probably in the 65 to 70% participation for local companies, and then the MWBE participation with that. We could be even higher than that. We have 3 more schools that we're fixing to put out for bids and quotations, which we are be soliciting every week now in the paper for MWBE participation, which we are currently looking for at the present time on these 3 projects that are fixing to come out.
Okay, and I'm going to go back to you. As we talk about the things that Turner has done over the years, you guys are one of the largest construction companies in the country, as I understand, right?
That's correct, for commercial construction.
So you've been doing this local MDW, minority woman-owned business relationship thing for quite a while. So over the years, what have you found that to do for a community when you have that kind of participation?
Yeah, that's when we found out that one of the good things to do is to set up a class and bring local contractors or minority contractors to the table and go through training sessions and all that. And that's why we set up that program many years ago across the nation, actually. So Turner is divided into many different 43 offices, and each office has its own Turner School of Construction Management school. So that's a way of getting those relationships set up since the beginning or even before a project starts.
Now, you didn't just come in here and just have this class and say, oh, well, we're going to do that and that'll show the community we're involved. Did you really hire somebody who completed the class?
We did, actually, and it was a challenge, and the reason why I'm saying that, it's because of the volume of the contracts we have. Just for giving an example, just the concrete package, it's closer to a $7 million package. So it was very difficult and a challenge to find a contractor who could do that locally. But what we did, we put all those different minorities or local vendors in contact with our subcontractor. So what we did every time we had a bid set up, actually in this room, what we would do, we would group all different vendors into groups who could do concrete work, who could do masonry, who could do surveying, and every time we had an award made, we would give that list of those contractors to that awarded subcontractor. Another thing that we do all the time, because of the location and the size of the project, we get visits from vendors, maybe a couple, 2 or 3 every day. So we have a list or project directory that shows every single contractor that we have an agreement with, and we distribute those to those vendors. So that way they can start to establish those relationships directly with our subcontractors. In addition to that, some of our subcontractors have offices at the job site. So if it's, for example, a mechanical vendor for mechanical equipment or something similar to it, we have a foreman on site full-time, and we bring them to their office so that way they can start to establish that relationship.
Wow. So we've got a lot of creative stuff going on to make sure opportunities are there for people who are in this community and want to do business with the school district. The Bond Project, it sounds like.
That's right. That's correct.
We're going to come back in a few minutes. I'm going to talk with Ed Caluette, who's manager of the Parsons operation here in Beaumont. And we're going to find out just how you, if you're a small business or a local business here in Beaumont, how you can get a part of what's left of the $388 million bond package. Stay tuned. Come right back. Welcome back. We've got this great panel of people here talking about how you can get in the game. And that game we're talking about?
Get in the game.
Hi, I'm Jessie Haynes, your host. Welcome back to Principal Matters. We've got this great panel of people here talking about how you, if you're a small, local, or minority business here in Beaumont or Southeast Texas, talking about how you can get in the game, get a piece of the pie, get to do some business with Beaumont Independent School District. So Ed Caluette, by the way, is with Parsons Construction, Parsons, Inc., one of the largest construction management companies in the world, I understand. Just got a big award for being all of that in a bag of potato chips, right? Explain that award you got.
Which award was this?
The one where you were in the magazine and they said you were the best CMAR, the best construction. We might have to do that takeover because Ed just threw me out the window.
No clue what you're talking about.
I was almost through this without doing a retake. You know that news release you sent me?
Huh?
You just said acknowledge it. Yes, we are.
Which one was this?
You sent me a news release. Okay, I want to ask that question. I want to ask it. We'll start over.
Yeah, we did. Of course we did.
I don't know I told you I don't know what's coming out till it comes out.
Jess, you come up with all these emails I've never seen.
Play along. Yeah, that
I'm Ed Caluette now.
Hi, I'm Jessie Haynes, your host for Principal Matters, and I thank you guys for listening and tuning in to this show. We are talking to a great group of people. Of course, I'm losing my voice a little, so I'm going to talk less and try to get them to talk more. With me right now is a team of people who are working on the bond construction projects for BISD, $386 million. And they've been telling us how you can get a piece of the pie if you're a small business or a local business or minority business right here in Beaumont or in Southeast Texas. I'm going to talk to Ed Caluette from Parsons. That's a construction management company for this great bond project. And I understand we are saving like millions of dollars just thanks to you.
Well, thanks to the team, Jesse. It's, you know, we roll everything up, but it's all these folks here that are saving money on the program, and so the program is very healthy financially. And as Tom and the other guys have said, you know, schedule-wise, we're picking up a lot of schedule. The teams are working really hard. They're working some long days, some weekends, and it's good quality work too. I'm really proud of the team. Delighted to be a part of it here in Beaumont, and there's so much that's being offered, and the community really should be proud of these projects. They're coming in on schedule. As we announced in October, the overall program is reflecting in excess of a $10 million savings, and you know that's money that can be used for other purposes, come back to the voters, and that's an excellent sign for the program.
Well, a few minutes ago when we were off air, somebody said if you want to get a part of this, you can't just be on the sidelines. You got to get in the game to play. So tell me a little bit about what do you mean by that?
Yeah, and that's a good point because these guys that are here, these folks, are the ones that you need to be in contact with. You need to make the introductions. If they're not the right person to talk with, you know, find out from them who is the right person. But you've absolutely got to make sure that you're in contact with these folks or in contact with Bob. Bob is always available to talk with the folks, tell them how to bid. But you've absolutely got to put together your bid. You've got to put together a team. Your bid's got to be submitted on time. All too often we've had bids that have come in after 2 o'clock, you know, after the due date.
And that includes 1 minute after 2. You
Absolutely.
Cannot accept a bid. If the bid opening time is 2 o'clock and you're 30 seconds after 2 o'clock, too tough, too bad, right?
And that's not just this program, and that's a standard of the industry. But
and
it's
especially with government programs.
Yeah, well, it's very important that the folks realize that there's pre-bid conferences where we explain what is happening as far as the scope of the work, the budget, the schedule, safety, what we expect in terms of safety, and participation with the other participants. And but you got to play in the game. You've got to get your bid in. You've got to be unique. You've got to think. You know, you've got to be creative about how you put together your proposal package, and that's why these guys are successful. They are very professional and organized on their work. You can tell that when they go out to the projects, how they've got their equipment set up, and that's the same way that starts back in the bid process. Where you review the drawings, you review the specifications, You understand the work that's being required. You find a creative way to come up with a better bid than someone else. But you got to be able to perform.
Well, would the first step be to get on a bid list? Let the people in charge, in particular, Parsons and Beaumont Independent School District, know that you are a business out there. This is your name, your company name, your address, the contact information. These are the services that you offer. So one, you can be on the list to receive information when opportunities come up. Is that the first thing to do?
That's the first thing to do, but also watch the website. Look on the district website. If you don't have access to a computer or website, you probably can do that through the library also.
Absolutely.
But certainly you can contact Bob at 617-5700. That's Bob Menifee, and he'll put you in contact with the right person. But you've got to take that initiative and do it early. Don't wait until the last minute. Do it early so you can plan for it, because these projects are coming up this summer for bid. The last one's probably in the September timeframe.
Okay, so there's still time left. There are still opportunities for local and minority businesses, women-owned, woman-owned businesses to get a piece of this pie. Correct?
Right now, we're looking at about $50 million in renovation work, and that renovation work will go on through the summer. As Ed said, some part of it has already been bid out, but it's a lot left. It's about 35 million left, and we're going to be doing a lot of projects. These guys do the work, but they've got to have subcontractors to come in and do a specific section of work. So anyone that's really interested, that has already put the effort forward to put their company together, if they're not on the list, and even if they are on our list, by the way, we have a contractor list on the BISD website.
Okay.
But whether you're on that list or not, you've got to aggressively go out and let these companies know not only what you do, but the quality of your work and what your work history is. If they see that you are an asset to them, then why wouldn't they use you? And that's what they're looking for. So if you've got a niche, whatever it is, then just simply let us know so that we can pass the information on. These guys are too busy to go out and look for everybody themselves. But certainly, those companies that are aggressive, that really want to do the work, the opportunity is here. And as Ed said, it's slowly coming to an end, because when we get through that last phase of bidding, so now is the time to contact us, let us know. We'll let you know what's coming up and what matches you. If you're worried about bonding or something of that nature, we've got a list of companies that are bonded, that are looking to joint venture with other firms. So you've got that opportunity to either joint venture, get into a mentor relationship, or some type of relationship with a larger company where you can learn and further the interests of your business at the same time. So the opportunity is all there. Just contact us and let us know.
So I think, and just Mr. Harrison, he mentioned mentor relationships. So you've got a lot of mentorees out there?
Yes, yes, we do. We certainly do. We're developed relationships with WB Construction. They're doing the Blanchette project for us now. They'll be doing the Dunbar project for us in the next bid letting session that we have here this month. They've come a long way, and I think that the next bond packages that you'll see WB as a general contractor bidding the work as themselves as we do as general contractors on a day-by-day basis. So we're working with several people right now. We've got a firm out of Houston, Hallmark, that we're also managing our Martin project for us, and they're a MWBE participant also. We are trying to develop as many local businesses that would like to come and learn and to be a participant in this project, so that everyone benefits, the whole community of this area benefits, and it's a learning process for everybody.
Okay, and I know that there are people out there who say, well, they're not really interested in doing business with a woman. They're not really interested in doing business with Hispanic. They don't want to do business with the black person. What do you say, Graham, when people say that to you?
I mean, the way we look at it, if you can have, it's a goal of Beaumont Independent School District to have participation from the local minority and women-owned businesses. If you can find someone who, as has been said, is prompt in their work, they take pride in their work, and they're going to do a great job, and on top of that, they have the qualification under the MWBE program. I mean, I think we're all dying to have folks like that all the time. I mean, we want to develop those good relationships because it does nothing but help both of us. So, I understand that perception could be out there, and we face that because we're qualified as a small business and trying to get work with the federal government, and you do feel that because you're always having to try to pull your way up, but it can be done, and it's done by again taking pride in your work and doing a good job, and the value will show.
Yeah, and one other thing I wanted to ask you about, any of you who want to take this question, HUB certification, the state certifies businesses as historically underutilized businesses. Either of you guys certified?
Yes, we are certified. We are certified with the City of Houston. We are MWBE as well as DBE. We go through the process of doing all our certifications that is necessary. We have bonding capacity. We have the insurances. We have all the things that's required because these are necessary to get a larger, a decent-sized contract, even to be a subcontractor.
Okay, all right. And then, Ed, I'm sorry, go ahead, Amanda. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, WB Construction and Sons is also 8A certified along with the HUB certification. And I would say to any smaller companies, maybe get in touch with the SBA who runs the 8A program, and they have a lot of programs there that will help you teach you about getting bonded, insurance, the type of insurance that you need, things of that nature. We're now at $20 million bonding, and it took us a while to get there. Working with ALCO, learning how to do the construction management at risk has been a great partnering session for us, mentoring. And I would say that to other smaller companies, definitely look for a larger company to see if they will mentor you in whatever area you decide that they want to work towards.
Okay. And she mentioned bonding. For those who don't understand that, can you explain what bonding means?
Well, bonding, there again, we were talking about relationships, and a relationship it's inevitable. You have to have that in order to build your bond lined up from a small amount. It's a comfort level that it's a large insurance company is the bonding company, but without history, you can't get the bond, and it's hard to get the history if you don't get the bond. So it's a chicken and egg catch-22 situation, and like Amanda said, you've got to start small and work your way up, and you've got to just do it. You can't just jump up there and go from 0 to 50 million or whatever it is. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't matter, and it's not a reflection of financial abilities or any of those things, because it's absolutely a comfort level that an insurance company has to do. You have to build that relationship, and you have to get that comfort level, just like it is with contracting, with subcontractor to contractor relationship. It's key that you build that relationship.
So no government entity such as Beaumont Independent School District would go out and give you a $20 million project if it didn't have some kind of assurance that you could handle it, and that's where the bonding comes in. As
stewards of the taxpayers' money, you have to have you would be remiss in your responsibility if you didn't make sure that you had that.
Okay, and I want to talk a little bit about something that may not be as comfortable, but let's talk about it anyway. Okay, Ed. Now we know Parsons, first of all, is a world-renowned company, award-winning company, and you've been working on this project, the bond package, since what, 2 years? 07?
November of 2007.
3 years. Okay. And when you came in, there were people who really didn't know that you were as renowned as you are. But I think once they see that you're going to help us save 11 million and maybe a few more million here and there, they're going to be happy that you're managing this. However, we realize that we've made some mistakes as far as some of the projects go, as far as getting a good start on some items, as far as selecting some people who, well, let me just get down to the nitty-gritty. When we selected one company that did not meet bonding capacity, can you explain how that worked? Because people are probably out there saying, oh, they went out and they picked somebody who wasn't bondable. But explain how that process works so people can understand that this is just the way it works, and sometimes it works that way, and we realize it in time enough to protect the district's money.
Sure. Well, in this particular situation ties back to the current economy, the down economy. This particular company, when we did all of our due diligence for their opportunity to be a CMAR, we researched their relevant school experience, the joint venture partner that they had. Joint venture partner actually had a lot of schools experience and a lot of bonding capacity. And but this particular firm elected to choose projects that they could pursue on the East Coast that were kind of like a bird in the hand. So they over-bonded themselves and were not able to bond. So this particular firm went to the next firm to try to joint venture with them and include them. And again, what happened here was the bonding capacity was reduced by the insurance company, as Terry said. You've got to have good relationship, but the market and their economic abilities reduced their bonding limits. Therefore, they weren't a player. And all along, this was happening in the background, but we were under the impression that a bond was available. We were told bonds was available, so we moved forward with that particular firm. But when it came time to actually produce the bond, and the contract limits required them to produce the bond, they were not able to produce it.
Okay, so, but the bottom line is the district did do due diligence.
Absolutely.
And it was not neglectful in checking out or doing anything that,
No, not at all.
so
It
you
was
couldn't have
events-
found this out any sooner than you found it out, regardless of
events
who it would
that
have been.
happened. We had rumors out there that this was a situation, but when we checked out the firm did have the bonding capacity. The insurance company confirmed that, but when it came time to perform with the bond and put the bond up, they were not able to produce the bond.
Okay.
And at that time, we went through the current contract proceedings to change to a different firm.
All right. Well, if you want to stay tuned and listen to just a little bit more about what's going on in BISD and the bonding projects, hang on. We'll be right back, and we're going to wrap this thing up. Okay, last one, right? Bunton, who else coming? May not even take 5 minutes. 1, 2. Yeah, it's going to take 5 minutes. Welcome back to Principal Matters. Let me tell you how you can get in the game. Each one of these guys are going to go around this table, small table, and tell you what's left to bid on and how you can get a piece of the pie. Let's start with Amanda Goody from WB and Sons.
Thank you. Right now, we've got 3 new schools that we're partnering up with ALCO, and those are currently being advertised in the newspaper. I believe that there's a pre-construction meeting next week, and for all those that are interested in bidding on that, I would suggest that they come out, get the information, get introduced to the people that they need to talk to, and definitely bid on those projects in the next couple of weeks.
All right. And how about you, Mr. Walker?
We're actually wrapping up our work that we have under contract here in Beaumont, but I would still say, what Bob mentioned earlier, get in contact with the guys who are the CMAR on the project and make yourself known.
Okay. And Mr. Daniels?
We've got 2 more projects that Regina is completely bought out, but we have Callwood, which bids right now tentatively for June the 15th, and then we have Sally Curtis that's tentatively right now for July the 8th, and both of those are coming out.
Okay. And since the stadium is almost complete, you got anything left over there?
Well, we pretty much beat all the different packages by the end of last year. But I invite anybody who is still interested in providing services to stop by our job site trailer, and we can give the list of the different subcontractors we have on board.
Okay.
So that way they can establish a relationship.
Say that again.
So that way they can start to establish a relationship with the vendors we have.
Okay. And just because you're wrapping up the project at the stadium, there are other businesses that you've got going on, and people may have an opportunity to develop a relationship with you for some of that work?
Definitely, and we keep getting invitations to bid from Parsons for the future projects locally, and for the event center for the city of Beaumont as well. So our plan is to stay in Beaumont and keep establishing and setting our roots down in East Texas.
Oh, that's right. We when we come back over that way, Ed, we have auditoriums that have to come up, and we have a multi-purpose event center and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, all right. So what's happening at Laser? What's left?
We have 3 new schools that we've started. We are civil contractors, as we said. We're hiring outside trucking. We're hiring pure drilling subcontractors. We're hiring concrete pumping contractors. We're hiring skilled craftsmen. And we've hired over 20 people since we've been here on the Blanchard project. We still look for good local help. Despite the economy, good people are still really hard to find. So the door's open. We welcome you to come by.
Okay, and ALCO?
As Amanda said, we have 3 projects that are advertised current time. The pre-bid is next Wednesday, I believe. I do not know the exact time. I believe it's 10 o'clock or 2 p.m. But just check in the local newspaper or call our offices, and we'll be able to furnish you that information. You know, we're looking for participants daily, local contractors, WBE, MWBE contractors. We are daily working with Mr. Lacey is currently doing the 3 civil projects we have that are coming out, and we're working with WB on the aspect of management issues with them. But all other crafts, we welcome them out every day, and if you have questions, let us know. But biggest thing, as we said earlier, is, you know, put together a concise, direct, responsive bid when you turn them in, so that there's no gray areas, that we know what you're trying to bid or what areas you're bidding on, so that they're a complete set of documents we can look at.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, Bob, first thing we need to do is make sure we put your email address out there, which would be bob.menifee@parsons.com.
Bingo.
Bob.
B-O-B, period, Menifee, which is hard to spell, M-E-N-E-F-E-E, at parsons.com, Parsons.com. Or just call the office. That's a lot easier.
And that phone number again?
617-5770. Okay. Just call the office, and someone there will tell you how to contact me, because I'm in and out. And another thing, it's been said, you've actually got to get in the game. Get in the game. Not just want to get in the game. Get out there and get in it. We've got a lot of work coming up in this renovation projects. It's all over the place. We've got, I think, 20-something schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools that are going to have renovation work on the inside. Flooring, painting, walls, ceiling, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, all sorts. We've just are in the process of letting out 7 roofs. We've got 3 more to go, which are small roofs. They'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks. But the roofing contractors that are coming in town, they're going to need help. They're going to demolition a lot of this stuff. They're going to need places to put the trash, somebody to haul it off. They're going to need electrical contractors, mechanical contractors, plumbing contractors. The mechanical equipment on the roofs actually has to be picked up so that they can re-roof and put in new curbs under it and then replaced. So they're going to need all kinds of help. So if you've got a trade and you've got your company, you've established and you're ready to go, give us a call and we'll put you in touch with the right people.
All right, so you're saying get off the sidelines, get off the bench, get in the game, right?
Become a player.
And Ed, as we talk about becoming a player in these bid projects, want to bring this on home. What do you want to say to those people out there who want to get a piece of the pie?
Well, let me mention a couple of projects that we haven't talked that much about. You alluded to them that are coming up for bid early fall. It's the 2 auditorium projects that we've got, one at Westbrook and one at Ozan, 1,200 seat and 1,000 seat. We also have some cafeteria work that's going on at Westbrook. That'll be bid out this summer. And then we have a couple of field houses that will be, they're currently in design. Those will be bid in the fall time. Keep in mind on the bids, as Bob says, you got to get off the sidelines. And as Tom said, you've got to put together a good, succinct bid. But the work's not going to be given to you. You've got to come in and submit a proposal. You've got to come to pre-bids so you understand what's required of you and put forward that good effort. It's an excellent program. I'm very proud of the program. I've worked on a lot of big programs across the country with a lot of major firms, and I'm delighted to work with the team that's here. It's a very professional firm. very conscientious group of firms that are here. They watch their schedules, they watch their costs, and the type programs that we have set up, the savings come back to the school district. So these firms are working very hard to come in under budget. That money will come back to the district. And as we've talked about right now, we're projecting 10 million or so. And as we get closer, as these projects start finishing up, such as Tom's projects and some of Graham's projects, we'll be able to reflect that savings, but we don't want to do it prematurely if there's unknowns that are still out there. But I'd say to the community of Beaumont that this is a great program. They should be very proud of it. And as we talked earlier offline, gosh, the test scores that come in from the students are just outstanding. And to me, it's so much fun to come to some of these board meetings where you see the awards that go to the students, like at the last board meeting. That's a big part of a satisfaction from our standpoint. Our satisfaction is building buildings, but it's also in seeing these kids getting some really nice, fine, state-of-the-art projects. And the quality is outstanding on these projects. The guys bring up how important the quality is. So the community is going to be very pleased with these projects when they're finished.
I am so excited. In fact, when we see what BISD will look like in about 2-3 years, it'll be a whole new face.
Two at the outside. Most will finish this year.
Okay, great. I want to thank you all for joining me, and it has been a blast, as the guy would say from Soul Train. A lot of good information, and I tell you, whether you're talking about laying out plans, digging ditches, moving soil, steel going up, concrete being laid, bricks being laid, roofs going on it, wiring, HVAC, seems like there are a whole lot of opportunities here in Beaumont Independent School District for businesses that are right here in our city. Thank you for sharing with me, and we look forward to the finished product. You've been listening to Principal Matters. I'm Jessie Haynes, your host, and come back next week where we're going to talk about even more interesting stuff.